Hi, everybody. Dan D. Federich, a Saratoga report on what some may describe as a gloomy Thursday. After all that heat, I'm okay with this so-called gloomy weather. A little cool down, some rain. I'm all about that. Hey, I'm here with an old friend of Saratoga Report, an old friend of a lot of people, an old enemy to a few, John Kaufmann of the Saratoga Springs Politics Blog, who earlier this week celebrated a 10-year anniversary. For any blog to be relevant for that blog is significant. And a local blog like this, that is absolutely fantastic. John, first of all, how are you doing? How are you feeling about that? And did you ever think you would go 10 years with the Saratoga Springs Politics Blog?
No, I didn't. It's been a fun ride. It's been a fun ride, and it started off. I was happy when I got 50 people that the software tells me how many people have viewed something, right? So, so I was excited when 50 people looked at my blog. But since then, it has mushroomed, and it's been very exciting. It's been very exciting. I guess you can. I mean, you had your video thing with Robin and Adam, it's you and I. We don't always agree, but we enjoy politics. We find it interesting and stimulating, and I really enjoyed your podcast. I enjoy them now too. I hope. Is there any chance you're going to reconstitute the thing with you, Adam and Robin?
We've done it for special occasions. I would do it in a heartbeat for a special occasion. I can't, like election night, for instance, can't keep it up on the basis we were doing it. It was as you know, because people probably don't appreciate your blog post when you have to get that YouTube video and when to capture a quote and so forth. That's hours. That has to be hours. I look at some of your posts. I'm like, oh my God, I know. I at least have a better idea than most how much time he had to put into this to get this right. Right. And the podcast, Robin did a lot of the background work. She did more than Adam and I. But it's still, you got to be prepared. You got to listen to the city council meeting the night before. I'm sitting there cooking dinner for my kids and listening to it on an iPhone, and there's F-bombs going off because they're yelling at the city council. And it gets overwhelming, that stuff. And you're doing it really with no monetization effort or plan or whatever. You're doing it because you believe in it. And God bless you. That's why 10 years is incredible that you haven't just said, I'm done.
And I'm retired, which is different from you. I don't have children, a job, and the rest. So, this is this doesn't involve a lot of stress, right? I mean, you research it, and that's.
But the time you put into it and the grueling, there's some of that work's got to be grueling to find the exact time on the YouTube post, get the links right. You make a mistake, you catch your mistake. You think you're about to post it. You're like, oh my God, I just got 2 more mistakes. And it just goes on forever. Finally, you're probably like me when I do the columns, I see them. You're like, I don't care what's wrong with this. It's going, boom. And you're just like.
But you don't have an editor. I have to have war with my editor. I mean, it doesn't stop there. I mean, there are serious discussions happen in this household over the tone, the substance. Did you prove it? You said this. She's my wife, Jane Y. She's rigorous, and that
probably helps you, right? That's probably good. Probably stops you from getting sued.
But sued, and also the quality of it is really. She deserves much of the credit. Jane deserves. She's not here right now. She deserves much of the credit for the blog site. She really does.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you pointed out A, because she deserves it, but B, because it's easy to forget because it's your name on it and so forth. And I think I have been told that by you and maybe 1 or 2 others of her involvement and keeping you where you need to be on point and things like that. So good for her, Jane. Jane, congratulations to you as well.
Well, the other thing I want to say is one of the things this does to me is I find it very distressing, the failure of the media to cover a lot of these things. Whether you agree with my spin or not, I would prefer analysis and spin, but whether you agree with me or not, I mean, the on-call thing, the thing with I have a
So
call.
much. We just talked offline. There's a dizzying array of problems and issues
but
in the city.
back to this, I mean, to me, going back, before the show, we talked a little bit about the Kaczynski post. That got nothing. I mean, I just can't understand it. This was a serious breach here, and we still don't know. But a little background for you people.
Yeah, remind people what the Kaczynski post is, please.
So the issue is the city received money to pave streets under this federal CHIPS Act. And they did Grand Avenue and St. Charles, but in addition to the streets that they were supposed to do, they also did J.J. Nichols' driveway, and he is the manager in a DPW for this whole thing. And he had them doing his driveway. And they also,
and that is proven, right? Or is that allegedly, or I think you pointed out
it's proved. It's proved absolutely. In fact, he was given what I would describe as less than a slap on the hand by Commissioner at the time Kaczynski, because I mean he for example Kaczynski fined him $75 for the asphalt he used, but they put literally $75 is what the city pays for a ton of asphalt. Okay, so that doesn't include the fact that people had to drive a large truck, to dump that on his property. Dan, if you want your driveway done, it's going to cost you more than $75 for the materials. But at any rate,
you can't get it sealed. You can't get it sealed for $75.
You got it. So, to me, this is like a major story. An official in the city had his own driveway done. And in addition to that, he did 2 other houses. And the thing that frustrates me is who the owners of these houses. How was all this arranged? How did they do this? Now, I was told by the current commissioner, who's been very responsive, that there supposedly was something that the city had done that caused the flow of water or something that needed to be corrected. But the problem there is that in order to do any work at all on private property by the city, it requires a contract. Not surprisingly, you're a lawyer. I mean, the issue of liability and what you're saying you're going to do, there are no contracts for any of these jobs. Okay.
Right.
So,
and let me interrupt here because we're looking at the history of your blog. You're pointing out that the media, the local media, has done nothing with this story. Was that your the reason you're bringing this up?
Yeah, because for a while I used to send them stuff, and then it became apparent it was a waste of time. And I even spoke briefly, to one reporter. I mean, they're not going to cover these stories, and there's no explanation as to. Well, sometimes it's like it's old. They'll say it's old. I'll say, well, it's old because it was hidden, and we only found out about it now. So it's not like we all knew about it a year ago. But be that as it may, that is the only real frustration, Dan, that I feel. I feel like our media is really letting us down. And I would qualify that by just saying that newspapers are really hurting. I know they don't have a lot of staff, and their research possibilities are hard. And some of my stories are complex and involve probably the kind of time that a reporter isn't really allowed.
Yeah, it's a shame it's come to that, right? And that's why you started your blog, I'm assuming, and that's why you kept it going, because in fact, I think you've written that at places in your blog. Even was that a tagline at one time? Is it the something about the failings of journalism? Did you have that?
No, that was that was the beginning essay for it. Talked about the fact that newspapers were in decline. They just don't have the resources to do the kind of research I do.
Let me ask you, go back anytime. It could be last week. It could be 9 years ago. Is there one post you posted? Can you pick one? It might be tough. Can you pick one that you're exceptionally proud of? You're exceptionally joyful that you were able to bring this to light, or you wrote it beautifully, or something? Do you have a favorite? I guess.
Yeah, there is, and it actually it was the most viewed post of any post I ever did. It got over 4,000 views, and it was about the what I call the lynching at Skidmore, when those two professors were simply had been in the park when the
Right.
Back the Blue thing happened,
Yes.
and they became the target of all these crazy kids saying they should be fired and all the rest of the stuff for being there. I thought that was an important piece, and it did get a lot of readership.
And what happened to those two professors? I don't recall. I remember these
they're
stories.
okay. Yeah, they're okay. I mean, the administration declined to do anything in terms of disciplining them, so
Okay.
it worked out okay. But their life was made difficult on that campus,
Okay.
and yeah,
Good,
I would just say
you may have helped them, right? You may have helped them save their jobs by bringing to light, the true story, or at least the other side of the story.
Possibly, yeah, because I'm a person of the left. Okay, I am, in spite of everybody think I'm a Republican or I'm a conservative or whatever. They occasionally send this stuff to me. I'm actually a person from the left, so I just felt that my vision of being a person from the left is the truth will make you free. So in the case of these people, I felt that the whole narrative for them was completely unfair, and we should be able to talk about this and be critical.
And now you bring me somewhere I didn't even write down in my notes, but I'll bring it up just because I know your blog well. We know each other well. You are from the left, and I've taught you. I know that, but in this crazy town, in this crazy city, you have been more laudatory, if you will, at least as of late, of those that either maybe weren't not registered Republicans, but were aligned somewhat with the Republicans party and so forth. How do you? I mean, is that a fair assessment on my part, or how do you talk about that?
No, that's perfectly fair assessment. The thing about it is in a democracy, you don't always get your choices are not always what you would like them to be. Okay, your choices are A and B often. Okay, and so you have to decide which of A and B is okay, and I am not partisan regarding Republicans. Okay, I have many Republican friends. I am highly, to be honest with your audience, I don't know how people are going to get angry at me. I am highly critical of our current president. I think he's a disaster. But I know that a lot of my Republican friends are not fans of him either. Just because you're Republican doesn't make you a MAGA person. And I think part of the problem has been that the local Democratic organization tries to nationalize, the elections a lot. I mean, if you're a Republican, you're the spawn of Satan and you shouldn't be elected. And to me, you can be a Republican and a very thoughtful person. You're to the right of me, but that doesn't mean, it's a diverse culture. We all don't have to agree, but to characterize, just take, for example, Chuck Marshall.
Sure.
Yeah. He's a really good guy. And also, yeah, he's a really good guy, and he's a Republican, but I know for a fact he did not vote for Donald Trump. But so, as I say, the issue is local people. I would just say that also that the mayor, I don't always agree with him, but I have to say he's the kindest, gentlest, fairest, the most open person, and I just think that he's he's been unfairly criticized sometimes, and in a way that doesn't gel with the way I see the man. But that's, so that's.
I was at the baseball celebration yesterday for the two teams, Spa Catholic and Saratoga Springs High School down in City Hall. They went down Broadway and a couple trolleys. Really enjoyable. And the mayor led it at the end. And I just couldn't help but have that warm feeling towards him. Like, that's my mayor. You're right. He is not, he's to be honest with you, he's far from perfect. I still think he's great. I still can't help but really like the guy. Does he, do I wish he'd do a couple things differently or more forcefully or less forcefully? Sure. We all feel that way. But I do appreciate him. Hey, let me ask you, I'll ask you your favorite. Do you have, is there one, and maybe you don't even want to talk about it, but is there one that you had to take back or wish you took back or just made a colossal error on and you kick yourself for it?
There have been. I unfairly blamed Saratoga National Golf Course for the weed situation in Lake Lonely.
Okay.
I regret that. This happens sometimes. Somebody who you consider to be a reliable person, who has been very good in the past, tells you something, and based on your experience with that person, you go with it. I'm still highly critical of some of the things that National did, but it was grossly unfair of me to write that they were, and I corrected it, but it was a really serious blunder on my part.
Well, good for you for acknowledging it, even back then and even today.
Yeah, I've been wrong before, and usually if people contact me, I've published corrections, for it. But that's the one that stands out for me, Dan. That was not right. Not right.
Okay. Well, like I said, good for you. The how far do you want to keep going? 10 years. You want to do another 10?
Well, let's put it this way. Hey, I just turned 79. All right.
Whoa, I did not know that. Good for you. Holy cow.
79. Yeah. So, hey, as long as my health holds up and my energy holds up, I'll keep doing it. It's something which I really enjoy. The only thing I tell you that I don't enjoy about it is having to listen to some of the city council meetings. By the way, I almost never watch them. Okay. I rely on the video because I can fast forward and I go back and so forth, and I don't have to sit through the whole ordeal. And it's very frustrating to me. The behavior, you read the blog, where I'm at. The behavior, particularly of Dylan Moran at the table. This is not helpful. It's really not helpful. It needs to be far more collegial. And if I have any criticism of the mayor, sometimes I wish that he would be more aggressive at ruling Dylan out of order. He should be told repeatedly, you will address your colleagues in a respectful and collegial manner.
Calling them by their first name, and you posted some of that just last week. I don't know if he was so flustered they didn't realize he was doing that, or if that was a tactic. Either way, that shouldn't have been done. And yeah, I think you're right. They're just, they should be respectful to each other, even where they're debating and disagreeing, and even if they're going after each other a little bit. At the same time, you need to speak to them in a respectful title, right? It's not John or Tim, right? And that is. Yeah, I don't appreciate that at all.
That's the toughest part of what I do.
Okay. Yes. The same thing with the podcast, listening to them. There were times where, Tim Cole used to tell me sometimes before he ran for office, he'd say in some cases it can be better than Netflix. And it's true, right? Some of the drama and the craziness, it was encapsulating, but that's 2% of it, right? The other 98%, it's not all bad, right? Some of it's interesting, some of it's you're thankful, you're grateful the city's addressing these things, but then some of it is just grinding and awful and like, oh man, can I go get a root canal, please, so I don't have to watch this anymore? So yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Hey, John, congratulations again. I really appreciate
thank you. And I rely on your site all the time. It's a great resource for the city. And I'm also going back at you. I'm very grateful for what you do because it helps me. You catch stories that I miss. So it's very helpful.
Well, thank you. If I could ever match your numbers, and I got them up on the screen now, 332,000 visitors, 1.3 million views, and 75,000 comments. And if I can get to 10 years, I'm at 5.5. So if I can reach 10, I'll be happy. But I want to keep it going, kind of maybe the same way for the same reason you are, because we're part of the media landscape here, and we're filling voids that just need to be filled. We don't, the Saratogian is what it is, which is pretty bad. I don't mind saying that. It's beyond pretty bad. It barely exists. It can't call itself a hometown newspaper. And we need to fill that void. And I'm doing that through aggregation with a little bit of commentary and a little bit of original reporting. I'm hoping to increase that. That's not taking off.
Your commentary is a lot of fun. I love it.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Thanks for noting that. I think you're talking about the column as I see them, where I make a bunch of random comments and observations and so forth. A tiny bit of dad humor thrown in there. Excellent, John. Keep plugging away. I'll do the same, and I will see you. I will stop by for coffee again one of these days. Take care.
Thanks again. Yep. Bye.